Okay, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. We start our class. So today we are going to just do a quick overview of Python language. So before we proceed, can someone please confirm that? Can you hear me clearly? And also let me know that have you ever studied Python as a language in any of the courses? Python has been taught as a course. Any course, any subject? Have you studied Python? You have studied in statistics. Am I right? So I assume that you should know something. And before we go proceed for Python, you must have studied some of the programming language and you must have a basic concept of object-oriented programming language, right? Maybe you might have studied C++ or C language in the start or Java or any other language. So you must have some basic concepts of programming. So it is assumed that you have some concepts of programming. So we will do an overview of this Python programming. Okay. So first of all, I will try to cover all these this content related to Python. So Python language overview, Python versions, operating systems, running a Python program, Python built-in types, the none type, numerics, sequences, mapping, sets, Python operators, Python control flow tools, Python functions, and Python classes, and in the end, Python modules and packages. So first of all, this is a quotation from Python Foundation Executive Summary. So I'm going to read out and I want to highlight this important point. Like suppose you can see that Python is an interpreted, object-oriented, high-level programming language with dynamic semantics. Its high-level built-in data structure combined with dynamic types and dynamic binding makes it very attractive for rapid application development as well as for scripting or a glue language to connect existing components together. So Python's simple, easy to learn syntax emphasizes readability and therefore reduces the cost of the program maintenance. So that was code from the Python Foundation. So for this chapter, I am this specific, the lecture I am using chapter from the book. I will share the book, Eric Chow's book, Learning Python Network Programming. So I will share, and if I don't share, please remind me and I will share it. So Python is favored for simplicity, rapid application development, as we just learned, easy to learn, right? And making accessible for the beginners. So being an interpreted language means no compilation process. So you might have, done some of other languages like C++, where you compile your program before you execute. So this is interpreted language. Interpreted language is just interpreted. The code is interpreted on runtime. So speed up the write test edit cycle and debugging simple script straightforward with print statements. So its object-oriented nature promotes code reuse through modules and package, Python files and modules that can be imported in order to in other programs, and facilitating sharing, collaboration among the engineers and Python. Batteries include philosophy, provide a wide range of standard libraries and common tasks like the regular expression, mathematics, JSON decoding, eliminating the need of additional downloads. So one of the Python's standout feature is its scalability, allowing small script to evolve into fully fledged production system. This scalability is particularly valuable for network engineers dealing with growing networks despite being initially labeled as scripting language. So Python is widely used in production systems by various organizations. So here I make a pause and I want to see how many of you are listening. So I want you to go and do a Google search and come back with answers. So question is, what big projects have been developed using the Python? So let's see what are the answers coming from your side. So I want you to search. As I mentioned in this slide, and it says that Python is widely used production systems. So starting from the scripting, it can be a full-fledged production. So I want you to search, and maybe you can turn on your mic, or maybe you can write in the chat box. Okay, one Dropbox. Okay, good. Amazon. What Amazon? Amazon has a lot. Uber. Okay. Rock paper scissors. Spotify. Good. Any other? Google, Instagram, Facebook. Everything. It seems like. So maybe some part or maybe complete, but a lot production has been done using the Python. Okay, we move forward. So now we come to the Python versions. Anyone knows what is the latest version of Python? 3.14. Okay. So basically, as of the April 2024, the Python 2 reached the end of the life in January 2020. This means that there is no more official security update or bug fix for Python 2. So using Python 2 is no longer recommended for the new projects. So, but still, people have programs, old programs that might run the Python 2. But we will be using Python 3 for this course, and this book which I will share is using the Python 3. Okay, so Python 3 is the dominant version, new features and libraries, and primarily developed for Python, primarily developed for Python 3. It's recommended choice for the new projects. Okay, so Python cross-platform with nuances. So yes, Python is indeed considered cross program. You can develop Python programs to run on Windows, Mac, Linux. However, there are some things to keep in mind, ensuring a smooth cross-platform compatibility. That file path differences. So backslashes are used path in the Windows, whereas the slash is used in Linux and Mac. So be mindful when you are working on this. So we will focus on Linux for the production, and we will be focusing on the Linux-based, the experiment mostly for this course, because this is very easy to, the execute and easy to do some experiment. Like suppose we did in last lab a little small code we executed on two virtual machines to check the communication. Okay, so the given target audience, Java app systems and network engineers, this course will primarily focus on the Linux or the production environment. Okay, so first code, running Python code. So Python offers two main ways to execute the code. One is, from the script, means the file. This is ideal for well-defined programs with multiple lines of code. Save your file in a .py extension, and then you can execute. So from command line, navigate to the directly, the script. So let's try to see. Okay, so let me switch this first. Okay, for now, I just put the text. So this is my, the Linux machine. So as I mentioned that I will be using Linux, so you can use, and I'm using the VI, which is the basic text editor in command line. But if you are using the Linux GUI mode, graphic mode, so you can use any the command line graphic mode program. So just use hello.py. So what should I write? Anyone knows the syntax? What is the syntax for Python? How to write simple code? Okay, I'm waiting. What should I write here? Print. Okay. So is it enough or should I write anything else? This code will work. Can you see my screen, right? My screen is visible. Okay, so to execute just simple, the program, what you have to do, you just write the command in the Linux terminal, Python 3, and just write the file name. So here my file name is hello.py. So you can see the hello world, right? Okay, so let's move forward. And here we have some more. So running Python code as a, the interpreter or terminal. So what you have to do for testing small lines of code. So you open the command line or terminal and type the just Python 3 for your version. So like suppose I just write here Python 3 and enter. So you will see these three arrows, right? And now you are entered in the Python, what we say, the interpreter or command prompt. So you will see this prompt. So now you can type individual Python semantics or block of code to enter or execute and just see the results. So this is used for the just testing. So like suppose the code we just use print. Now I'm just writing here again hello world. So it will write hello world. So if I make some mistake and then see what happens. Now it says that there is a scanning is literal, and there might be some other things we can just test on the go. Like suppose if I just don't write the bracket, so it assumes that I will write some more code, and if I just keep entering so it is going to work. Okay. So now this version clarifies the purpose of each approach and provides specific instruction for both description and so let's move to the next. So now we have Python built-in types. So for the built-in types, Python has several standard types built into the interpreter. First is null objects, numerics, numeric integer, long, float, complex, and bool or boolean sequences, string, list, tuple, and range, and mapping, dict or dictionary, sets, set, or frozen sets. So we quickly move forward. So the none type denotes an object with no value. So this is returned in function that do not explicitly return anything. So the none type is also used in the function argument to error out if the caller does not pass an actual value. Okay, then we have numerics. So numerics Python offers several built-in data types to represent numbers like integers. So for integers, we just write, the int, whole numbers, positive, negative, or zero. They have unlimited precision, meaning their size is only limited by the available memory. And in earlier version, Pythons have long integers with the unlimited size, but they no longer necessary for the modern Python language. Okay, before I move, you guys have idea about data structures, basic data types. You know something about structures, right? Have you heard about integers? Yes, no. Yes. Okay, then we you might know about floats as well. So floats are number with the decimal points, or they may use a fixed number amount of memory storage which limits their precision, and this can lead to slight inaccuracies when presenting certain real numbers. So complex numbers represent the complex, just like the denoted by J and something like this. Okay. So now we have in numerics we have signed and unsigned. So except for Boolean, all the numeric types are signed. Anyone knows the difference between signed and unsigned? What is signed? Yes. What is signed number? You might turn on your mic or just type. Just let me know what you are thinking. Don't sit idle. Okay. So sign means it can either be a positive or negative, right? So booleans or bool, special numeric type representing logical true values, and it can be one or zero. Represent so true represents one and false represents zero. So for the proper numerics, you choose the right tool means right. So choose the numeric type depends on your needs. Use integers for whole number calculations when exact precision is required. Use floats for the calculating decimals, but be aware of the potential precision limitation. Use complex number for mathematical operations involving imaginary units, and use booleans for representing logical conditions like true or false. So now we move to sequences. Sequences are ordered sets, okay, of objects and with an index of non-negative integers. So in this and the next few sections, we will use the interactive interpreters to illustrate these different types. So we will use, I will try to, show you on the live Linux machine as well, and you can also try at your end if you are running your virtual machine or you have Python installed in your system. Okay, so sometimes it surprises people that a string is actually a sequence type. But you look closely, strings are series of characters put together. So strings are enclosed either single, double, or triple quotes. Okay. So now you see this. Note the following examples. The quotes have to match, and triple quote allow a string to span different lines. So, like suppose if let's try to, like suppose if I just copy this and paste here. Maybe some, okay, maybe the copy paste is causing some problem because some of the characters may be changing. So, okay, you just notice here that if you have, like, suppose if I write here print, just write this file, so print a. Okay, so you see this is just a string, and then suppose if we want to write this in single quote, that will be also a string, and if we want to put on the multiple lines, so for this we need triple quotes. So instead of copying, let me try to type this. I hope this should work. DevOps is fun too. DevOps is fun. See, now it's accepted. Then copy paste was causing problem. So if I write print B, so I can see this syntax error because I did not follow the syntax correctly. And suppose if I write in the multiple lines, so I need triple code and I just write something our you, then I put something there, there, and I just put triple code, enter, and now if I print see. So you can see this on multiple lines. So this is example of the string. Now we move to the further to the sequences. Sorry, I actually using on the web this PowerPoint. I did not realize that shortcut is different for where are. Okay, so then the other two commonly used sequence types are, the list and tuples. So lists are the sequence of arbitrary objects. List can be created by enclosing the object in square brackets. And just like string, lists are indexed by non-zero integers that start at zero. The value of the list are retrieved by referencing the index number. So whatever index number you will retrieve, it will retrieve. Let me try to see this if it does not make error. Some character I think is character is not. Yeah. I don't know, maybe some character in copy paste is causing trouble, but I just go through here. No need to waste time. So when you see this, this is our uh, the list. So in list we have Cisco, Arista, Jupyter. So if we put index 0, we will see print out Cisco. If we put vendor 1, so we will see this Arista, and if we put under in the bracket 2, so it means that what we index we put, we will see the that the from the sequence. Let's suppose this is another example. Oh, I just keep making trouble. Let me open this file from instead of using this. Sorry for this interrupt. Just quickly move forward. Let me try to write this. Is the problem. So it's so just come next. Okay, so for this one, tuples, tuples are the similar to the list created by enclosing the values in the parentheses. So now you see this. Now we have this in parentheses. So the value in the tuples are retrieved by referencing its index number. Unlike list, the value cannot be modified after create. So once you have created these, the tuples, you cannot modify. But in the list, you can modify, and we are not going to much detail, but I will try to do it tomorrow in the lab. So you see this in the data centers, we have tuples. In tuples, we have SJC1, LAX1, SF01. So when we write this data center and in the the square bracket 0, so we get first index letter which is SJC1. Uh, the our number or whatever we write. So you see data center 1 is LX1 and so on. So some operations are common to all sequence types, such as returning an element by index as well as slicing. So like suppose if we write A, so networking is fun. So if we write A in bracket 1, so it will return the index letter E. If we write A0, we will get the index letter N. So let's suppose in this example, if we write vendor 1, so we get Arista. If we write, the data center 1, so we will find LAX1. And also, if you write from 0 to 2, so you will get the two letters of, this, and if you write vendor, so you will find this 2, and if you write the data center, so these are the common factors. So remember that index starts at 0, therefore the index 1 is basically the second element in the sequence. So here are also common functions that can be applied to sequence types, such as checking the number elements in minimum and maximum value. So len or length A will tell you how many the characters or elements are in A. Length of vendor, len vendors will tell you how many elements in the vendor and how many in the data centers. So like suppose if we have a list of numbers A1 to 1 to 5. So if we write min B means minimum of B, so it will return with 1. If we write maximum of B, so it will return with 5. It would comes as no surprise that there are various methods that apply only to strings. It's worth noting that these methods do not modify underlying string. Data itself always return a new string. So suppose if we do some modification with these methods, so the original string will never be changed, right? So if you want to use new values, you would need to catch the return value and assign to different variable. So like suppose in start we took example of A is networking is fun. So I hope my A worked, right? So let me try this if it works. So uh, no, I don't know. Okay, so let's see this. I just put A as a test. So now I can, capitalize. So when I put A dot capitalize, oh, sorry. So you see, it will capitalize the first letter. So I already put test as uh, E capital, so it doesn't matter. Let me try this. A dot upper. So when I write A dot upper, so now it should return all in the capital letter. Now, suppose if I want to make some different and store into the new variable, so I just write p is equal to upward and enter. So now my p is having the capital value. What we mentioned that it will never store. So if I just write a, so you see the a is still the same test test. So we can split to split. Uh, we need to have more letters. So like suppose a, I just put test is working. So now I just use split. So now you can see test is working. It's split in three. Again, we can store in the new variable. So like p is equal to 8 or split. So now my p is showing 8 or split. Okay, so here are some of the common methods there for the list. This list is a very useful structure in terms of putting multiple items and in iterating through them. For example, you can make list of data center, spine switches, apply, the same access list, all iterating through them one by one. And since this value can be modified after creating unique tuples, so we can expand, contrast the existing list along the program. So let's suppose here we have, for this one I just highlight and you assume that this is coming out of the output of. So suppose we have a list of routers R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, and so suppose if you want to append this routers, so you just add R6 as well. So now when we write router, so you can see that R6 also appended. You means added. So let's suppose routers dot insert, and now you are using another the thing, and now you have defined the index where you want to insert. So you want to insert at the place of 2, and what you want to insert R100. So you see that 0, 1, 2. So at the place of 2 we get now R100. So like suppose if you want to pop router 1, so you will get this R2, which is the place of 1. So this was the 0 and that 1. And then again you write the router, so now you see this is appended or edited. All of you are listening to me, right? Clear, and everything is visible. Just say yes, no, anything, so I can know that people are here also. Okay, okay, thank you. So now mapping. So dictionaries are powerful key value stores. So Python offers dictionaries, a data structure that acts like a poor man's database. So why it says poor man database? Like dictionary stores are key value pairs. So you have idea about key value pairs, the concept of value pairs, how we use this key value pair. So that makes easy. You can access value using readable keys, making code easier to understand. And keys can be string or any other data types. Unlike list with the numerical indexing, so dictionaries are flexible and can hold various data types as value, including even list. So now you see this code snippet is little bit different. Now you see this, we have data center one where we define in curly brackets, and we define spines when this single code, and we put colon, and after the colon we have this list, right? So what does it means that we have, something like this, and then if we put the data center one leaf, that is another thing. So you see the data center one is having spines, leaves. So when you write data center one, you will get this output where the spine and leaves are combined. So if you write data center one spine, so you will get the output of R1, R2, R3. If you write the data center leaf, so you will get the output of L1, L2, L3. So then that is the function of the mapping or dictionaries. Now we move to the sets. For these all example, I will try to do some exercise tomorrow to make them more understandable. What is the importance and how that is different. Okay, so sets, unique collection sets store collection of items, and but unlike list or tuple, they are unordered and cannot have duplicates. So this makes them ideal for tasks like the removing duplicates from the list, checking for the members. So set offers operations like union, combining elements, intersection, finding common elements, and differences, finding elements in different sets. So like suppose for the value of a we put hello, so set a. So now you see the letter L was duplicated. So now in the set L is just counted as a one. Now suppose we have a set B, B as a set. So one, one, two, two, three, three, four, four. So when you write B, so now you see this function make the redundancy as a just a one, it counts one. So again we can amend or added b, so we just put b dot add and 5. So now 5 is added in the list of b, or maybe you b update. So now you get the updated version of b. So a b b, and you get only two times b and a, once, sorry. So again, if you write a set A, so now you see 1 to 5, then you write set B as a set 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you do intersection of A with B. So all of you know the intersection we have done in the schools, right? So in intersection, only the common numbers will be provided. So you see 4 and 5 is the answer. You can do the union of A and B. So the answer of A and B union will be this. Okay, so that's how this works. So now we come to the Python operators. So before we move, I think I should take some break. So we will take a break, and it should not be long, maybe 10 to 12 minutes, maybe 13 minutes, right? So we will start again around 9. Okay, so please come back at 9 o'clock.